Okay, so it turns out we're live. Sorry. I was hoping I would figure out how to put me first and not you. Whoops. So everybody, welcome. I am Megan. You are here with Everybody Yoga with Megan, and we're having quick conversations. Tonight we have Val. We're going to talk about numerology. So first and foremost, we each have our wine because these are very informal convos.
Cheers.
So Val, super quick, can you give us a rundown of what numerology is?
Okay, I'll do my best for quick. But numerology, it's kind of similar to astrology. I like to say that like astrology is kind of how the planets affect us outwardly, but numerologies all break down to vibration. It like goes way back to like Pythagoras. I won't go into all of that stuff, but it's all about vibration. And basically everything breaks down. You can break anything down to a number, and then you can break each number down to the numbers 1 through 9, and then master number vibrations 11, 22, and 33. And then all of those numbers have a meaning. So when I do people's charts, like everybody has a life path number. It's basically your birthday broken down to one number, your name broken down to one number. And then there's a motivation and outer personality numbers as well, which are the consonants and the vowels. So, and those all have different placements in your chart. So basically we're all made up of numbers. We're all made up of vibrations. And it's just a tool to learn about ourselves a little bit more. A numerologist that I really look up to, she calls it like your cosmic DNA. And I just really love that. She says that it's like a fingerprint, and nobody else, like most people look at their core numbers, but you can go way down the rabbit hole on them. So it's like nobody else is like you, and just basically you understanding what those vibrations are and where they're placed in your chart, it kind of helps you just get more in alignment with what you're supposed to do with this life that you have. And since I found out about it about 10 years ago, it really helped me understand me, why I was the way that I was, why I felt so misunderstood. And whenever I just launched more into like what my life path and like my expression number was saying, I was able to find a lot more happiness, and led me to doing numerology, which actually kind of goes a lot with my chart. So that's a little breakdown of other things can break. Like we've got personal years, we've got universal years that we can talk a little bit more about since we just came into 2020. But so that's it in a nutshell. How did you, Megan?
Yeah, of like cosmic DNA.
Oh yeah, well, I love that. I think the numerologists, there's two numerologists out there. One's named Gerhart and the other is Natalie Olson. And she's actually the numerologist for numerology.com. And they have just like, I've learned so much from them, and like the wording they use on that stuff. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's the way we vibrate. It's our cosmic DNA. So I can't take credit for that, but it's
a good one, right?
Oh,
like,
great. It's
how
great.
we show up sometimes is how we were made, and then also how we choose to be.
Yes.
I feel like we're both yogis, so we both understand that coming into our practice and meditating and being whole and present allows us to show up differently than we might otherwise. So do you think that yoga can help shift that cosmic DNA, or do you think that's...
Oh, for sure. And I actually, in my yoga classes, 75% of the time I'm saying something about numerology in there. Like opening all my classes today got to hear about what the year 2020 had in store for them, like what universal year we were in, because like most people will be pretty cool. Who come to me are, they're usually yogis or like me. But some people will be like, oh my God, like that's scary. You're going to tell my fortune. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell your fortune. I'm like, I'm just going to read what the numbers have to say. And there's no bad numbers. There may be some numbers that like I jive with more than others, but that's me personally. All numbers are good, and they all have the dark and the light to them. They all have the shadow side to them. And the thing is we choose what we activate in those numbers. So there's going to be a shadow side to every number. So it's like like it depends on how good you are with yourself. And even like that theme, like themes, for example, like the 1 is more about the self, the 2 is about partnership, 3 is about like social stuff, 4 is about like foundations, grounding. So it kind of shines a spotlight. Like say if you come into whatever personal year you come into, say you're in a personal year of a 7, and that's going to shine, that 7 is the seeker. It's the more spiritual sign. It's going to shine a spotlight on how you are spiritually. And if you're doing good in that area, things should be going pretty well. That may, if you know about numerology, like you can lean more into that month. But however, if you've been neglecting your spiritual like hygiene, it's going to be a shit show for you.
Yeah.
It like that's what. So that's why like I had a friend going through some really crazy like custody stuff, like family issues, and he asked me what the 6 was about, because we were in a 6 month, and I was like, oh, it's about family, and he just kind of shut me out. He was like, oh well, but my family's in shambles right now. He wouldn't let me speak on it. Like a week later he comes back, calm down. He's like, well, tell me about what the numbers have to say. I'm like, you're gonna listen? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, it's shining a spotlight, because I think you and your ex have been shoving things under the rug. You haven't been dealing with, it's shining a spotlight, and it's making you, yeah, it sucks because it's making you have to deal with the things. Because I'm like, the way you're living was not sustainable, right? I was like, it's making you fix your family life right now. I was like, because it's not great. It's not that it's punishing you, but it's because there's cracks in that you are just brushing over. You're not getting to the root of it. 6 is about family. 6 is about love. 6 is about nurturing. Like if you have cracks in those areas, it's gonna make you learn that lesson. It's trying to make things better, but sometimes it's like the obstacle is the path.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, even with yoga, right? Like the poses we resist.
Oh, the ones we need the most.
You know, so what we don't want to deal with, the things that keep coming up and up and up. Like, we're gonna come out better on the other side. It's just hard to be with that in the moment.
Yes. Absolutely. So yeah, I think that yogis do really well they're really into it, because a lot of yogis have done the self-worth work, and they love being able to dig a little deeper and find out how they can, they're open to this. Whereas like a lot of other people, not so much. So I like yoga and numerology go really well together. Like yogis usually love astrology too. It's because they're just looking at it as like ways to, like, because we know it's like working on ourselves. It's a way to know ourselves better. And it's like, that's a lot of reason why I come to my mat, is to get reconnected with myself. Like if I've been pulled in all different directions, I would like, it's like, oh, you've been teaching a lot, but when was the last time you got to your mat? Right. And so it's really just the things that I find like, of course, when you first get into it, learning about your chart, just learning about who you are. But even as you, like, things that are always changing are like your personal year. You have personal months. You have personal, like we have universal years, we have universal months. So it's just, every time something changes, I get excited. I'm like, okay, guys, it's a new vibration we're coming into. Like, like these are going to be the challenges. These are going to be the high points. Like just like look out for that. And just, it's just kind of like, what to expect.
Okay. So we have like a minute and a half left.
Okay.
Speaking of what can we expect, what is 2022 bringing us as a universal?
I'm so excited about 2022. So we came out of a 5-year, which 5 was a roller coaster energy. If the keywords are change, freedom, travel, adventure, that's all fun, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So the keyword associated with the 6th universal year that we're in is love. And it just gives me chills talking about it, because after the past 2 years we've had, what the world needs now is a little bit more love. So love, 6 is about love, family, it's the teacher, it's the caregiver, it's the nurturer. So it's like, I'm excited to lean more into that. And I've been thinking about more ways. How can I love myself a little more? How can I love the people around me a little bit more? So that's the keyword, is love. And I'm as a numerologist, last year I was like, oh, we got to buckle up for a little bit longer. But from a numerology standpoint, I'm like, bring it all in. I fingers crossed.
I first of all, I love love.
Yes.
I love, after 2 very difficult years. Even if whoever's watching personally was not impacted, we were all impacted, some of us more than others. I so appreciate the opportunity to come into this year with love at the forefront. I think that's the best way to end what numerology is, right?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
all to be love, to have love, and to give love.
Yes. All numerologists are excited about this. I mean, of course, you can activate the shadow sides of this, but like, we're not going to. We know better. We know the numbers. We're going to lean into love.
Lean into love. Okay, everybody. That's it. You heard it from Val. Lean into love.